Got a muffler on there now. It's already looking like a lot nicer tractor. Get that screen off there, get some of the rest of this off here. I got something really cool we're gonna do with those cultivator brackets. I saw a really cool way to build a weight bracket, hang on weights on it. Not that I have anything that needs hang on weights on the front of it, but it'd look cool. You can see it's pretty well cleaned up here. Still gotta get these off and those off. We're gonna take the picker hubs off. We're gonna have to dig up a manifold because this one's all loose. You can take the pipe and wiggle it back and forth. When I was cutting all the clamps off of the exhaust pipe up here, I had tapped lightly with a hammer and I could see the pipe go back and forth. I'm 98% sure that crack goes all the way through, so this manifold's pretty well toast. Gonna have to replace it if we want to have a good reliable tractor. It's amazing how small of a pile all that loader frame goes into, minus the actual loader frame. I guess the loader mounting brackets are pretty small compared to what you would normally think. And here's the 3-point just hanging out here. These are really cool like this because it allows you to still use your drawbar for heavy tillage work. You can see that drawbar's been used a lot. She's just about pulled through at the end there. It's been welded up in a couple places, but this 3-point's really nice. This will do somebody really good someday. It's just not something I use. It's a good way to help pay for the tractor when you buy a tractor with a 3-point. If you're not going to use the 3-point, because people pay good money for these, they use their quick movers. A lot of people really want a 3-point on their tractor, and I'm happy to let them have it because I don't need it. I would much rather use an international 2-point setup like this, or this one, or just have a straight drawbar on the back, because all my attachments are pull type. I don't have any 3-point attachments other than I do have a jib boom, so there's no point in messing with this. I don't like 3-point bush hogs that much. I would much rather use a pull type bush hog for the bush hogging I do. You know, I would much rather hop on my H and run around a bush hog than to use, you know, a compact tractor with a 3-point bush hog and all that. So there's no point in me hanging on to a 3-point hitch that I'm not going to use. Especially if I'm going to convert the tractor over to a 2-point fast hitch setup, which I feel is more superior for draft work. Very few of the 3-points I've had that I've tried to use on an M or an H, very few of them function correctly for doing draft work. They work fine for, like I said, pulling a bush hog. Maybe 3-point disking would work better, but you know, I tried pulling a 3-point 2-bottom plow, didn't work very well. The geometries aren't right. They don't stay where they're supposed to. The Alice tractors, like a WD-45, are way better suited to putting a 3-point on. It works way better on one. I'll put a picture in here. The John Deeres have a built-in rock shaft. It works much better on a John Deere having a 3-point. They work great. I'm not familiar enough with an Oliver or a Cockshut or any of those to be able to say anything on that, but on Farmall, I've just never had good luck with a good solid 3-point. And most of them you can't use a drawbar with, so that eliminates all of the attachments I would use behind one. So this is the first one I've contemplated keeping because it does allow you to keep that drawbar, but you don't get the full swing out of it, which is nice when you're pulling a pull type bush hog. And the fast hitch, I can put that drawbar out at the point and you can hook the bush hog up way back there. It gives you a little better turning, because my problem is I always end up with the bush hog swings around and touches my tire. When you extend it out with the fast hitch, it works pretty well. Plus you can pull offset with the fast hitch. It's a little harder to do that, you know, using a 3-point bush hog. It's kind of nice on hillsides. You can pull the bush hog way over here and you can keep the tractor off the hillside as much. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. Not necessarily, you know, life-changing, but that's why I'm taking the 3-point off of it, because I don't have a use for it. and there's no point in me hanging on to it when it's worth almost half what the tractor's worth around here anyway. I've had a couple, I've sold them, and it legitimately could be half the cost of the tractor depending on how much you pay for it. Back to the main discussion. We're getting there, we're getting it almost stripped down, then we can start rewiring, fixing things, you know, all the normal stuff we got to do. We're going to put some front tires on it, probably at least put that one on it, probably put a second match to it, or close to it anyway. Check out the wheel bearings, because like I said, this thing's had a loader on it, and then before that it looks like it had a picker on it, so I'm sure she's probably in need of some wheel bearings, or at least packing them. That broken hub there is obvious signs that they get abused. Those new Idea horn loaders, they've got a tremendous lift capacity for no bigger than they are, for no bigger than the tractor is. They, from what I was reading, might have, 2,000 to 2,500 pound lift capacity, which is pretty impressive considering this massive piece of sheet metal here is rated for 2250. So, it's kind of impressive that this big loader can do that, but that pipe frame new Idea horn loader can do the same. Yeah, these wheel bearings take a beating on those tractors when they've got anything like a picker or a loader on them. So it's definitely something you want to check out. We're definitely going to dig into these at a later date. We're going to work some more on hydraulics. We're probably going to put a different starter on it, because I realized that one actually is marked as a 12 volt starter. My plan was to put this back at 6 volt. So I don't know if this is, I'm assuming that somebody rebuilt it and it's been rewound. It seemed like it cranked kind of slow, so that would make sense. We're also going to put the bore scope in it. We're going to figure out what pistons are in it, see if we can get a ballpark idea of what we're dealing with here. My brother and I put a new spring in this. It was all broke off. I think the lower 2 or 3 coils were broke off of it. He held the seat up, and I've stuffed the spring in with a pry bar. Worked pretty well, really. I expected the spring to jump out and smack me in the face, but really went pretty smooth. There's the spring. You can see how much of it's broke off compared to the old one that we put in it. I don't remember where that came from, but from some parts tractor or seat assembly or something I bought at some point.